Hey everyone, welcome to the Obsidian Blade Medicine Hour. That's the new name of the show. And we're live. And turns out this is what I do with my life. There was something else. There was another thought that I had. Oh yeah, what are we doing on planet Earth? I think the Buddhists have been trying to figure that out for 5,000 years and nobody's come up with a real answer yet. Other than that, we might be interdimensional consciousness that is here for a temporary vacation. And during that vacation, we seem to do this one thing, this one weird trick called relationships. And we seem to want relationships, and we are built upon relationships. We're built upon connections. But getting those relationships and those connections balanced, whole, and healthy really has consumed us in, I wonder how it was 100 years ago. I really do. I wonder how we were doing this 100 years ago. Was everybody happy, or was there still, in the West at least, a lot of repression? But here we are today, the modern human beings, the people who are privileged enough to not be in survival status, to really dive deep into our own operating systems and get this relationship thing figured out. And, the messages from consciousness have been nudging us in this direction for a while as to how to have good relationships. But I also, and I'm sure you do this as well, you notice the signs. You notice the signs around you saying, it's time to get this thing handled. So let's get relationships handled in this episode of the Obsidian Blade Medicine Show, or Medicine Hour live. And let me turn off that giant logo because it's time. Now that you know where you are. Okay, so, but before we dive into that, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're here on the live, and I'm glad you're maybe here on the replay wherever you are. What we do here is this. Where am I? Story brand. Oh, if you're new to this channel, please subscribe and hit the notifications bell, because I'm doing this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 a.m. because it's time to talk. It's time to, I know there's many people doing this, but it's time for us to at least show up in mass, whoever's doing it, wherever we're doing it, and really share the frequency, because you're not going to find this anywhere else, not in the mainstream or not for a price. So what I do here is, I'm an intuitive, empathic creator, and so are you, and we're coming back online and reclaiming our power, aka the heroes who have remembered themselves. And where we place our attention matters. And right now, there is a great realignment of our truth happening as we shift towards the dawn of the sixth sun, living with new Earth and our galactic reintegration. So we gather here together to cleanse what no longer serves us, to speak about what you will not hear about in the mainstream deception machine, and unfortunately, what you might not hear in certain spiritual circles even. And what we do here is gain insight on the beliefs that no longer serve you or humanity and cut that shit out. Hence, it's called the Obsidian Blade. So, lastly, if you want to hear this episode cleaned up on iTunes as your new favorite podcast, then I suggest you head on over to Google Play, iTunes, and Stitcher, and you could hit subscribe there. Again, all the episodes of this YouTube live show will be there, as well as other episodes. I've got 60 episodes in there from the past 2 years of very detailed shamanic transformation energy work. Oh my God. And we are glad to have you here. So let's dive back into relationships. I'm going to turn that off. So the transition. The great transition that we're experiencing is one where we have been trained to ask for permission for everything that we desire. Where we first picked that up, of course, we picked up that weird relationship paradigm from our parents, where they hooked us into their needs and what they wanted when they wanted it, which was typically and understandably, like now that, I'm an adult, I understand the situation that my parents were in a lot more, which is they're busy and they've got things to do to earn money and just have the day flow in order to earn money. That we could dissect right there as well, which is kind of fucked up. When we've divided our families from work and leisure, and we've split them apart. Many people have, looked at this even in the 1800s, that is the downfall of the modern, society, is that we split apart work, family, and leisure. And back to a tribal setting, we actually used to do all three of those things at the same time. And you can observe that in certain cultures where, they stayed together, they worked together, the family is working together all day long, and they're having fun working, or they're having fun hunting. They're singing and they're praying and they're giving gratitude together, and they're deep in their living cosmology. And we do not have that here in the United States. We don't have that. And I know that points us back to the wound or of separation that hurts so many. So many of us are isolated. So many of us are in pain because we feel like we can't connect or we can't be ourselves. And even people who do a lot of work on themselves and spend a lot of time meditating and discovering, as soon, you never notice that you know who you are, but as soon as you walk out that door, you have to put on a different mask, a different face. And so there's something that we need to heal there about, ending this separation and finding your tribe, finding your group, and learning how to work together, stay together, and play together, and have all of that bring about and all the check off all the things that need to happen, right? So staying, creating the home and gathering the food. And I digress in that direction because I'm just looking back when I mentioned, my own parents and understanding the fracture of love and relationship, is that your parents, my parents, they were busy having to leave the family to go work, and then we would get to see them at the end of the day. But as a young child, right, we're explorers. We don't even know what's going on. We have zero context, and we get into this pattern where we try to please our parents who are burdened with a lot of these concerns. So we match them and we stop being who we are in order to gain approval with our parents who are busy, like we're busy now, living our lives, right? You have good friends that you love, but you don't see them every day because you're busy, right? But what if that could change? What if we could figure this out like we had always been doing? Somehow we really lost it in the West, where we've really fractured ourselves from our friends and our family in order to make a living, and therefore we're doing it alone when there could be a lot more power in the group. So in that setup, where we started to change who we were as a child. So who we were to begin with, we were just us. And you don't have to do more than be who you really are in order to feel your own love, be love, and experience love. But when you're born into a situation where people are busy, you start to take that personal. We don't have the aptitude to not take it personal as a toddler, a baby, a young child. We are very personally oriented in those years. And unfortunately, and in a weird way, those years are the years when your subconscious hardwiring is being woven together and then stored in the body as cellular memory. And it's kind of a weird twist that we're designed that way, to be thrown into busy situations. And so the Buddhists would call that, that's your karma. Your family is part of your karma. And so I think for a lot of us, we've had the similar karma of being thrown into a family. I think a majority of us, but if you didn't have that, then you're very lucky. You must have done something good in your last life. Where, we were born into families that were busy. And then as a young child or children who take everything personally, we are like, well, I better change my game. I better match. I better stop being who I am, because being who I am is not working. And I better match the people around me in order to get attention and please them as to where they're at and what they're doing. But it's weird. It's weird for a toddler to have to match someone in their 30s and relate to someone in their 30s. That's weird for a toddler to do. And so hopefully, your parents and now parents understand that they need to get on the child's level and to honor the child where they are at and enforce, like, you're good as you are. And I love you for who you are. And you don't have to do anything else. So if we circle around back to where we are now as adults, walking around the world or walking in the world, notice this is where we have to observe when we're desiring a relationship, and if you're in one, then we can look at that too. But, when we're in that state where we're between relationships and we're seeking a new one, and we're like, okay, we see someone who we're attracted to, but what we have to catch, and we do this with our own work and we do this with our own creativity as well. So this is not just about relationships. What we do is we begin to imagine, what do I have to do in order to match that person so that I make them happy? And right there, right in the beginning of the relationship, that's your downfall. That's been my downfall. And I catch myself when I start to imagine, once I see a woman who I think is attractive, and I'm like, okay, what would it be like to get on her level? Yes, we do need to relate to people. Yes, we do have empathy with people, and we understand where they are and honor who they are. It's not about me dominating them or them dominating me, but it's interesting to notice if you have that as a predisposition, the pleasing mode, the matching and pleasing mode, the matching and over servicing mode. There is service to a relationship, but then there's over service, which comes at the denial of your truth. So what's the switch up? How do we change this up? We have to go back to zero within ourselves and reclaim the power that we are. Now, here's the trick. You don't reclaim the power that you are because you are already power. You and I have been trained to believe that we don't have power and that we need to seek it outside of ourselves, that we don't have love and that we need to seek it outside of ourselves, that it's not good enough just to be us. We have to be more through the approval of others. And some people have that so fucked up that they need the approval of millions of people in order to feel normal and okay. And then when that goes away, like, rock stars or actors, then that's pretty much when they hit the drugs and it all falls to shit. But for us, we've got to reclaim the power. And what does that look like? What does that feel like? And that is the key thing to start with. If you want an awesome relationship, be that a relationship with a partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, or with your work or with your purpose here on the earth, with the way that you express yourself, what we do is we begin to go into our body, anchor within it, and begin to feel completeness. Begin to own wholeness. Begin to start to do that imagination process of where, like, what does my ideal relationship feel like? Where I'm in my power, I'm loving myself, and it feels natural and easy. Yes, I participate. Yes, I do the work. Yes, I'm present, but I'm also not in a mode where it's like fight or flight, having to scramble around to make sure the other person is happy. It's not your job to make the other person happy. Yes, you do things that don't displease them, right? That's a fine line there. You don't go around screwing people over and then going like, I'm not responsible for your happiness. That's some psychopathic narcissism right there. But you're participating in you first, and be like, I will not compromise. Once I find that feeling, once I get into the vibration of what it feels like to be in love with myself, and to also be like, this is what an ideal relationship vibrationally in my body and in my vision and in my heart feels like. Once I maintain that field, then I will not compromise that field. I'm going to stay in my, I don't want to say so much container, but my rate of frequency. And I anchor that actually down into my pelvic region, into the sacral chakra and the sacral energy centers. So it's really deep down in the body at your core. Once you bring this vibration of your ideal relationship or your ideal mission in life, you anchor that into your core, and you are there residing in it. And you don't need someone's approval because you've learned to reclaim your own approval system. That when you give yourself the green light to go ahead and go forth and multiply in your own frequency, that's enough. It's actually the jackpot. It's actually the mega dollar lottery that you've been looking for. But we somehow are getting out of the old paradigm where we have been looking for that outside of ourselves. And so we catch ourselves when we dip into the old habit of imagining that we need the other person's approval of us to be what we are, and to also relearn to not compromise what we are. Yes, we work with people. Yes, we communicate and understand and have empathy for other people's needs, for the people who are close to us. But you never compromise you. And if you find yourself having to compromise yourself in order to be continuing in a relationship, then it's worth having the conversation of like, this may not be the right relationship because my primary relationship with self feels like this, yet when I go with you, it doesn't feel like I'm being good to myself. And it's really critical to pick up this energy match, if it's a match or not, right in the beginnings of the relationship, because you're going to save yourself a lot of hell if you are true to you. Now, true to you doesn't mean being an obnoxious, selfish brat either. Like, if you don't match me, I'm not going to do it. I mean, we are needing to be workable to a certain degree. There's workability. There's a little give and take, ebb and flow around this. But when you're violating your own frequency. But you will only know if you're violating your own frequency if you've established what your frequency is. So that's our homework. Know who you are, be who you are. your desires, your visions, the good feeling vibrations and frequencies and mindset and body resonance of giving yourself 1000% permission to grant yourself access to your desires. And we must do the homework where if you're not granting yourself your own desires, because trust me, I do that. I checked myself on this all the time where I create blockages to my own desires. If we're not giving ourselves permission to have access to even entertaining our own desires, then that's where some work is needed to be done. Because if you're not entertaining your own desires, you're never going to get to your desires. Yet you know you have them. So we all do this. We come across people who say they want something, but they're never doing anything about it. One part of that is called entitlement, thinking they don't need to do anything in order to receive that which they want. But at the very minimum, you've got to at least give yourself permission to experience what it would be like to get exactly what you want. First in your mind, and then sending that into pleasing feelings into the body so that you can own it. You can embody, what you want. And that's our responsibility, to embody what we want. And, to discover any sort of blockages that come around not giving ourselves what we want. So another aspect to relationships is our relationships with existence. And I wrote down here, Starseed Equality Program. Let's turn these off. If you want to find me on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, the Obsidian Blade, we'd love to see you there. But mostly, I'm loving this YouTube stuff. This feels good to show up and be with you, either live or on the replay. Please share this with your friends. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the notifications bell. Even give it a thumbs up. It goes a long way in letting others know about this show. But also, I just really want you to be here to hang so that we can have, this is the Medicine Hour, and I'm here to assist you in whatever you're going through. So I would love to see you on the chat. Soon I'm going to figure out how to take live phone calls. So looking forward to that, but just looking forward to create more circle and tribe and unity with you. That's why I'm showing up here 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's to be with you in whatever way you need so that you can find your liberty and your clarity in order to create what you came here to create as a creator, because this is the age of the creators. This is the age of the heroes who have remembered themselves, where we take back and utilize our full power, living in endless possibility and potential as our divine right. So, that's what I like to do for fun. I'm going to turn that off. I'm going to turn on top logo. It's interesting playing with these transitions. Soon I'm going to get a quick switcher. There's so much more to come to this show. I'm excited for you to be with me on this journey because we are doing this together. But there is a lot more fun stuff to come as this show develops and I gain the skills and the techniques to make this show really fluid. But back to Starseed Equality Program. So, kind of riffing off what I started with around relationships and owning your vibration and getting into the realm of infinite possibility and giving yourself permission to infinite possibility, I just want to, say there's a lot of information out there in the interdimensional realms, spiritual realms, shows on different channels about Palladian messages, Arcturian messages, Syrian messages. Oh, and there's a lot of people can get into the deep end of stuff of like, okay, disclosure. And why aren't they telling us anything? That's good to know about, but on a certain level, it's just another waiting game. If you're waiting for someone who's a dickhead to give you permission in order to know what you already know, then you have to take responsibility for being enrolled in a fucked up power paradigm where you take your own power and then deny that you know what you know and what you know is true for you, and then to act upon it. So either you can wait for the old institutions who really love to have control and power over you to acknowledge that, yes, we live within a galaxy, physically, possibly, you just have to look up and you realize you're in a galaxy, right? You don't have to wait for the government to tell you that, correct? So you live in a galaxy teeming with life and the essential nature of consciousness manifested. What else do we do here? And so a lot of these Palladian, Arcturian messages, I am so glad that they're coming through. And I know when I, listen to those messages, typically the theme is reminding you that you belong, that they're there, and that you're about to come into your full power. But Starseed cultures are not reminding you of how powerful and guided and blessed you are, only in the end for you to beg or ask for their help. This is really important. Where we are right now, we are in the age of the heroes remembering themselves. What does that mean? It means you do not need to ask for the government's approval of your power or acknowledgement that it exists. You do not ask for the system of the matrix for your own power. You do not go to Palladians, Arcturians, and Syrians and, what other star culture is out there and ask for your power. It's not going to work like that. We are on the path towards equality. And we're working that equality thing out right now between the masculine and the feminine. But the equality equation workout program sounds good. It's kind of like, can we get Jane Fonda back? Hey, Jane Fonda, can you do that equality workout program? The equality extends into galactic culture itself. So we work it out between the masculine and the feminine and between each other here on planet Earth. But equality extends out into the entire universe. So they're not reminding you of your power in order for you to come back to them and say, hey, when are you going to come and land and help us out? They're not going to help us out in that level, because if they do, that just sets up another parent-child relationship where someone more powerful, someone more in authority than you, constructs, is coming down, they're higher, you're lower, coming down to help you. That idea of someone has to come down to help you, to raise you up, if done improperly, will set up another master-slave, parent-child relationship, hierarchy, pyramid. And that's not where we're headed if we wish to be the heroes who have remembered themselves. We're headed back to the circles. Circles are where everyone is equal but unique. Equal doesn't mean same. So when we talk about equality between masculine and feminine, Equality does not mean same. It means different, unique, but equal. Because everybody in that circle has to and does see life from their unique perspective. And from their unique perspective, they also bring their unique expression and skills and vantage point. So we're headed back to the circle away from the pyramid. So I just want you to keep that in mind. Always examine where you might be in the old world. And we could call that old world the Piscean age, the fifth sun, or the matrix, or I like to say, the slave system, where you're waiting to give yourself approval because you were somehow trained. And now you trained yourself so well, you don't even think about it, that you get angry when someone outside of you doesn't give you what you want, when you're perfectly capable of giving yourself what you want. Now, that doesn't mean in a partnership you don't ask for what you need. And that doesn't mean you put up with being in a relationship that doesn't give you what you need when you request it. But I'm saying for the most part, that which you seek, you can find that within yourself first, which includes your power to be an equal aspect of consciousness in a connected universe of many diverse species. So the Starseed Equality Program, I guess I'm starting one right now. I guess, I'm not asking permission. Can I follow my own advice here? Okay, so we're starting the Starseed Equality Program right now. That's it. It's official. It's official, everyone. Starseed Equality Program is happening. So sign up and own your fucking power. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to not swear so much. Own your power in the Starseed Equality Program, where our galactic brothers and sisters will be so proud of us when we own that we have that we are equal to them, that we are remembering. We are in a period of remembering, and they love us for that right now. We're coming out of a long, long slumber, a long hibernation into the light of the sixth sun, which will help us remember what's already within us. The gold is already within you. You've just got to go within and claim what's yours. The Starseed Equality Program is saying, remember life. Come back to life. There's a lot that we love and have discovered within being in the matrix or the slave system, the pyramid slave system. There's been many, many interesting lessons. But we wish now and do claim our power and take the best of the best, the cream. We take the cream from the top of that experience, put it in our back pocket, and walk back over to the circle as an equal. So humans, my fellow humans, love that you are human right now. Yes, you may have come from the stars from other lifetimes, but you're human right now for a very, very, very good and important reason. It's because you are here to clear the DNA codes with that starseed knowledge, maybe from being different starseeds, different, cultures. Maybe were a Palladian or a Syrian, but you're bringing that information through the vehicle of the human body. So you're taking your collective intelligence from your previous or all lifetimes, Bella, and cleansing the body through the remembrance of your intelligence. And as you cleanse the body, you come into that state of empowered frequency. And What are the unique gifts of the human? This is the rise of the human age. This is what I like to write about and say, that this is the rise of the human age, where we end saying and believing that human is less than source. That doesn't mean human is trying to compete with source, because it turns out source created us and therefore we are that which makes us. The rise of the human being is to honor that we have power, and that power is equal to any other starseed culture out there, and that the technology that we're bringing back to those cultures, to the galactic circle, that's the one thing that we want to honor and recognize within ourselves, to take an inventory of what is the power of a human being. And right now, I would say that the power of a human being is the power of being a creator. We are dreamers and we are manifestors. And maybe other cultures do this as well, and maybe that's the way that we function everywhere. But we've got to honor our gifts and no longer sit there on our asses waiting for space sisters and brothers to land when we are meant to rise. I've got a good poem about that on Instagram. We keep asking them to land, to come down to our level, when they're like, no, 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 no. Get off your ass and get up to the level you're meant to exist at. Not their level, but the level that we're meant to exist at. And we are capable of so much. So the rise of the human being is to recognize the Starseed Equality Program and bring your unique gifts to the table as equals. So again, be vigilant and watch out for when you begin to shit on being a human being and wishing for something else, because that's a trap. That's a trap that you were trained to participate in. And every time you participate in that trap, you use your own power to deny that you have power, to create a story that says human beings are less than. You are holy, you are unique, you are loved, and you are connected, and you are powerful beyond your wildest dreams. So begin to dream wild. Love you so much. Glad to share this time with you. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays live, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Bring your questions to anything. There's now 3 episodes of this live. Check them out and see if anything comes up for you or something you want me to talk about more in depth. Right now, when I show up, I'm just channeling what's in the air, what I feel is needed, but I'm also here to talk about what you need and where you might be stuck, so that we can get the human Starseed Equality Program enacted and in full flow. And please bring your ideas to that as well. But, the age of the human and its power is here. We are the heroes that are remembering ourselves, and we are the gods returning to the earth to do good here in what has, in some ways, been a very dark age. It is time to be very, very brave and wield your weapons of light and cut some serious shit out here on the earth. Because as a human being, you are an active, voting, card-carrying member of existence as an agent of source. Okay, really feel that one out. Maybe print out an ID card with all of that on it and remember, look at it every day. I'm like, oh, I've got a say in what happens here. I'm equal. I am equal to everything here, and I have a say in what goes down. And it is time for the gods and goddesses to return to the earth and do some really beautiful heavy lifting because you're capable of heavy lifting. And own that human experience, because you will be so proud to re-enter the galactic circle as a human and claim our full potential of what that is. Hit subscribe, hit the like button or the thumbs up and the little bell that gives you notifications of when we're live or when we post a new video. I'd love to see you here. I love that you exist. We are doing this. We are the shift. And let's continue to talk about what New Earth looks like and feels like, and then arrive there together. See you on Wednesday, or see you on Instagram. Hit me on the DMs anywhere, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. But I'll catch you soon. Love you so much. Have a great day.